Hi, I'm a biologist, so we looked at each other and thought maybe they're going to take a bio break at this point, but I guess we don't.
We have a long lunch.
Okay, we have a long working lunch. So we'll go ahead and begin with our presentation. We want to thank you so much for having us here from the Academic Senate. We're so pleased to be with you. And it's been several years now that the California Community College Academic Senate has begun to actually think about this whole issue and streamlining pathways and how we can collaborate. So our question today is, who holds the key to this transition? And Nancy is a past Academic Senate president. She works, current Academic Senate president locally, and she works with VOCAD. And I am on our executive committee at the statewide level, and I'm chair of our basic skills and non-credit. So what would we like you to walk away with today? First of all, we'd like you to be able to explain to each other what we do as Academic Senate, because we're a really odd animal, and I'll try and explain that to you, because I think a lot of the bridging and transitioning is going to be facilitated if you know how we work and who we are. And as I said to Marianne, we're not just, we want to give you our credentials so that you'll know what we can do together. We want to explain some of the current challenges. I think there have been great data shared about what the situation is in the state and some good examples about what's happening. But I thought that it would be very important for you to understand what challenge we community colleges have so that we can approach it together hand in hand as partners, because it's not a simple bridge that you walk across. There are a lot of components to it. We want to discuss potential solutions, and we've got some for you, and Nancy's going to share some real practical things we've been doing that might be models for the future to work with you individually. And we also, as we talked about this and we met with Marianne several times, we were trying to figure out how do we approach this from a way that's really honest as far as what our perspective is and what your perspective is. And we finally ended up saying, we want you to think about evaluating student-centered transitions. And as adult educators, you're tops in that. You're right there thinking about that. I'm not sure in higher education, student-centered is always the foremost thing that's on our decision-making platter. Sometimes it has to do with other things. So we're looking at a student-centered approach. And then finally at lunch, as Marianne said, it's going to be a working lunch, and we're hoping that you'll give us some feedback as far as potential linkages that we haven't thought about. We're really out there, open, ready to do whatever it takes, write grants, work together, but we need to know if you think the ones that we've got going work and if you have other ideas. So let me just share with you that this PowerPoint is broken in a way that I couldn't fix it and Nancy couldn't fix it. So each line is going to come up separately, and that it frustrates us, but just please be patient with us. The California Community College for Academic Senates is very unique. You're not going to find this existing anywhere else in the world. It is a group where we want to foster faculty participation. We do develop and promote policies statewide. In the last couple years, we've been very effective in moving and shaking basic skills throughout the state. And we serve as the official voice of the faculty, 69,000 faculty serving 2.9 million students in 110 colleges. So we have this big base behind us. And our goal is to strengthen the faculty at the local colleges. Just in case you thought, wow, that's a pretty hefty idea they had. Why do they want to do that? It's actually in our education code. So we have the power to do this, the power to be the voice, and we're at every table that talks about community college education policy because we've been given it in law. So there are 10 things that we do, which we call affectionately the 10+1. So we do 10 things and one thing. And I thought one thing that I might want to talk to you about just briefly, if you look at these first 6, if you look down there at number 5, community college faculty have primacy in determining these things statewide. And on number 5, standards and policies regarding student preparation and success. We have an interesting situation that we're working on this year. As we've been more focused on basic skills, we've had to look at our success rates. And I don't know if you've seen the basic skills success rate in the state. Most of you have, right? The last 2 decades, it has been flat, right around 50. It goes between 50 and 60%. We're not proud of that, and we want to see it change. But it's been there for 20 years. So we started looking at some of the problems, and one of them is that unlike every other state that we've looked at in the United States, when you come to a community college in California, you will find there are probably no prerequisites for you to take a college level course. So you can go into Psych 101, you can go into history, you can go into many of these other courses, and there is not a requirement to be able to read or write at college level. And that has to do with a case that was settled out of court, the MALDEF case several years ago. We don't think that's serving our students well, because when we looked at our graduation, our success rates in those classes, they were lower than our basic skills college success rates. So we're thinking, we have not been very good at directing them, and we're working on that right now, but there's a lot of discussion and piloting that has to go on. We also talk about many other processes, which you probably talk about on your campuses and with your students, but we have a great deal of authority based in law to be able to affect them. So what that, I hope, says to you is that when you're in an adult ed program or on a high school campus or anywhere, if you really want to look at transitioning and linkages and bridges, find the Academic Senate president at the nearby community college. They can help to guide you to the people that will make the connection. Now, I hate to say this, but if you do come and you go from the administrative level and try to work your way down, you may not have quite as warm a reception. So here's a key. Check it out with the local Senate president and work with the faculty, and then get the guidance from there, and they may say, oh, well, you need to speak with this administrator, but I guarantee you that it'll be a much warmer reception.
So for those of you from Orange County, I'm from Coastline, my table's over here, so I'll help you where I can.
Yes, go talk with Nancy. Marianne asked me to just explain a little bit about, well, how is the Chancellor's office different then? And you may see here that they have a mission and a vision, which is very much more like a government organization, and they're to guide us. And they've done just a great job in incorporating us in decision making. But this is basically where they're at. And we have a very broad mission in Ed Code that we meet, and most of you know that. We have to greet and meet and adopt everyone, and we have to help everyone get to wherever they want to go. So it's unlike the UCs and the CSUs who have a much more narrow focus. So Marianne's asked me, well, how do you cooperate with the Chancellor's office? And my response was, maybe 5 years ago we wouldn't have said this, but currently I can say that we cooperate at every level. When something comes up, we're called to the table in consultation council, and we participate in giving our opinion. It's always got to be moderated by the amount of budget that's available and other practical things. But we sit on many of the policy-making committees, and recently, as far as curriculum and program go, we've been the leaders in making policy that have to do with educational things. And so as you think about transitioning and bridging, you can also think about the statewide Academic Senate, and we have a website and we have a lot of access where you can get your concerns to us there. And then finally, we have found that everything works better when you collaborate. Nothing works well when you just say, this is my right, we're going to do this. And the Basic Skills Initiative in California for the last 4 years has been a remarkable change. It's a culture change. It's something that I hope this budget crisis is not able to quelch, but I feel as though it's going to be very challenged. So as far as working with high schools and administrators and working through the 110 colleges, our Basic Skills Initiative has been huge. So now we're going to move on to this student-centered approach to transitioning, and that's enough about why we're here, why Marianne invited us, and what we do, and what we hope we can do with and for you. First of all, I think you've heard it several times, adequate guidance is really important. And in California community colleges, we're actually legislated, we have legal mandates that we have to fulfill that have to do with matriculation. And I'm not sure how many of you heard this, but that took an over 50% cut, and the funding for matriculation is now flexible. So how much guidance students really get is something that, although we will say in every document we print is the most important thing for those students that come to us, we're not able to maintain that funding base, and we're worried about the challenges this year. We have learned through the Basic Skills Initiative that we need to respect the time, talent, and needs of all of our students. They are not purely academic. The great number of them are vocational. They have ESL needs. They just want to be good parents that can help their students with homework. We have to do a lot of things to meet those kinds of needs that the students have. We discovered in the last couple years that we have not been so clear in our expectations of what those students need to have to be successful. So we've been working this year, and I'm really pleased to see some community college faculty out here that have been working recently on a project that I'll talk about to clearly identify expectations at every level up to college and transfer level. And we want to streamline those pathways because, as was previously stated, people are not going to be able to go straight through those pathways the way that traditionally we thought they might. We know that the average community college student works 36 hours a week. And we know if you take a 15-hour load, that's 45 hours a week of work. And we know that most of them have children. So we know that we've got to be realistic in what we're doing, and we must streamline their pathways. And then we want to give them credit where credit is due. And Nancy's going to talk to you about some of this. If they've done something in adult ed, and that is really worthy of credit-bearing work, we want to give them credit for that. We're not in competition to say, we'll give credit and you won't. We want those students to proceed as quickly as possible. And we want to help them to have reasonable expectations of success. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of challenges in bridging to the community colleges. There are 4 that I want to talk to you about. The first one is counseling, the second one is academic preparation, the third one is assessment and placement, and the last one is course alignment. And then Nancy's going to talk to you about solutions to these. So first of all, counseling is essential. It's an essential practice. We put out 3 of the publications that we've made as a result of the Basic Skills Initiative that we've had. One of them is a simple book on basic skills. It's a literature review which divides effective practices into 4 main areas: the organizational and administrative practices, program components, staff development, and instructional practices, and then gives examples for each of those. For those of you from national research organizations, you might say, well, this is pretty simplistic, but I'll tell you what, for our faculty, it's been revolutionary because we've been able to at least look at what we could do and move forward and say, this is an effective practice. And counseling and matriculation is one of those very important practices. Again, the challenge is we've been cut by 62%. What do? We may get another cut next year, and some of my colleagues feel that although we didn't want to have to do matriculation because it was mandated and we were being compliant, we always wanted to do it because it was a best practice. We're now really worried about what the future will be. You may know this, that it is not a student practice to get any kind of counseling, particularly for adult students. And also a lot of whether or not they get counseling depends upon their own personal aspirations and their family background. So this is some data from the Community College Survey of Engagement, and you may or may not have seen this, but we know for a fact after hundreds of community colleges have given their students the opportunity to respond, 47% of them will not go see a counselor. They will simply ask their friends and family, and we know in most cases their friends and family don't really know much more than rateyourprofessor.com, if that. So, who holds the keys then to counseling and fixing that problem? We don't know right now. We need some help. We need to know how to get those keys into the students' hands. Some of it is education. I had a great basic skills math teacher tell me that every day she takes roll, and one of the questions has to do with a location on campus for counseling. And that way she's embedding that in her daily practice. So that's one way to get over it, but it won't solve the problem. So another challenge, academic preparation. How many people are familiar with the EAP? Can you raise your hand if you've heard of it? Okay, not very many of you. This is something that is an exam that was created by the CSUs. It tests all of the high school juniors that would like to go to college, and it's an early assessment. That's what EAP stands for, Early Assessment Program, to try and tell them whether they are ready for college level work or not. It's based off of the CST, the California Standards, and by the way, I was just at a meeting with the American Diploma Project, and I was told we have the highest, some of the highest and most specific standards in K through 12 of any state in the nation. The problem is, we don't expect everybody to make all those standards, and we test them in the KC at a lower level, at a 7th and 8th grade level for math and only 10th grade level for English. So we have good standards there. The EAP results of this last year showed, I'm gonna pause on this because it blows me away every time I say it. Of the 300,000 plus juniors in high schools that took it, that had completed all their A through G requirements, so they were CSU ready, as much as you could be ready at the junior year, only 17% were ready for college level English. How do you bridge that? How do you get them to credit? These are the top students in the high schools. What do we do to meet that challenge? Well, one thing that we can do is we can format and align our courses, and we can make our expectations known earlier. So as of this meeting last Monday, the community colleges have signed on to the EAP, and as students get their results from the CSU test, the EAP, which simply says, thumbs up, you can go to college, you're ready, or thumbs down, of which 83% got thumbs down, we want to change that message. We want to say, thumbs up, head off to CSU or UC. Not thumbs up, hey, do we have a program for you? And we want to figure out how we can meet those programs. Here's one thing that we've found. I don't know if you're familiar with Lee Schulman. He's a great guy at the Carnegie, he was president of the Carnegie Institute, and he shares that in traditional education, somehow, somewhere in our ancient history, we determined that we were going to say that time is the variable that is constant. You must achieve this within one semester, and that success would be the variable that varies. And therefore, the most important thing is time. And when you do that, you create potentially a bell curve where some people will pass, a big group will kind of get everything, and another group are bound to fail because the variable that will not change, the constant, is time. Can you imagine if they did that when you went to a hospital? Hi, you get 1 week in the hospital. Some of you will get well. Some of you will be, okay. And a few of you are going to die, but time is the most important variable. That's what we've done. Now, I'm happy to say that as I've looked at adult education and non-credit education in our own colleges, we have chosen an opposite view of education. Time is what varies. Success is our constant. We want and we believe and we know that everyone will succeed. It just may take a different amount of time because some are working. It may take a different amount of time because some don't have English as their primary language. The legislators don't like to pay for this kind of education as much, but we know that this is the way it is. Now here's a challenge for you. We aren't going to change credit-bearing education. If a student's life is based on this kind of education where they can drop in and drop out, or they can take a long, long time to get something, which I think is really right on, what do we do to bridge them to this? Because when they come that first credit-bearing semester, this is what they're going to face. And I'll tell you that most credit teachers don't know and won't look at the other kind of education. So how can you help them? What are the steps that can be built into what you're doing every day that will get them ready for this kind of what I believe is not really the best way to do education? All right, our next challenge, placement. So we had this big discussion with the CSU and UC faculty, and they just were wondering why we were even questioning whether or not to use the early assessment program as a messaging, early messaging to students. And so I want to show you what that looks like for us. I hope you can at least see this either on your notes or up on the screen. I'll tell you something that's embarrassing. Community colleges are really independent, and that's why it's been difficult for you to bridge to our California ones. Every community college does something very, very different. They have different pathways, they have different names for the classes, they have different ways of looking at the curriculum. And so this is the first year with our looking at basic skills that we have been able to actually look at where students are entering our colleges on a statewide level. Because before, everyone assessed their students differently and placed them into a different class at a different level. This is what we've discovered in the last year. 23 representative colleges out of 110. They were both rural, urban, suburban. You can see how many students we looked at, over 70,000 in math and English. And I want you to look at where they're assessing in. It's not simply a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're talking about nearly 40% of our first-time students being 3 levels below college level. How do we bridge those students? What do we do to get those students to credit bearing? We cannot give credit for 3 levels below in math. We cannot give credit for 2 or 3 levels below in English, according to our ed code. And yet we've got more than 40%, around 40% in both those categories. So how do we deal with this? And what do we do to assess our students more accurately and bridge them into the credit? Let's see. One thing is that we can look at course alignment and we can see if we're giving them good direction, and then, oh my gosh, maybe we could even describe what those levels are before college and make it clear so that students would know where they're at. And that's what we've done in a project called CV21. It all happened because we have to report student progress to the legislature, and we got a bunch of brilliant faculty together in credit and non-credit, and we are now able, if any of you would like to look at our rubrics so that you can look at how your classes look compared to the ones that we've got, we now have 8 levels described in ESL. Most of the 8 levels are non-credit, 6 levels in credit ESL. Can you imagine that? 6 levels. And we know the longer the ladder, the less likely the student is to reach the top of it. 4 levels in math credit, 5 levels in non-credit, reading 4 levels, and English 4 levels. And what we found is that we got the greatest information by putting our credit and non-credit faculty together and trying to align what they're doing, and you're going to get a little talk today about one particular school which is bridging from their non-credit to credit. But it taught us an awful lot, and it's not telling us what to do with our curriculum, but it's giving us a matrix. It's based on outcomes, not standards. So if you look at it, you might say, this is pretty simple. These are just some high-level outcomes in Bloom's taxonomy. That's right, because we're going to trust that the teachers will look at the standards and fulfill those outcomes in the way that they know best. So these are the outcomes of our CV21 alignment project, and we're really excited to talk more about this next year when we actually figure out hard and fast bridging from credit to non-credit, which should give adult ed educators an idea of where the bridges would work for that. As Nancy and I put this together, we left off something. We were having trouble doing just the technical part of it, but we were thinking about, well, what ways do students bridge from adult ed that's a student-focused pathway to get into credit? And so Nancy's going to talk to you about some of them. Credit by exam is one that we're excited about, that she's going to talk to you about. The Basic Skills Initiative, what we've looked at is that we've got summer accelerated programs now where we can jump people in, assess them, and boost them up 2 or 3 classes in one summer program, or where we give them a dedicated, focused English or math time, 8 hours a day, in order to accelerate what they need to get. Critical academic skills is something very exciting on my campus. We're hoping to have our assessments be more diagnostic. So instead of saying, gee, I'm sorry, you're not at college level in English, we can say, you just have problems with run-on sentences, or you simply can't make a thesis statement. And we have 1-hour classes, and we have the faculty send the students to 1-hour critical academic skills. They're not taking an entire semester to catch up, and they're being very diagnostic and directive, and still taking credit-bearing courses. And it's been brilliant. We've served over 1,600 students this year at my college alone doing this, so we're excited about that. Then, of course, we do have non-credit courses, and our new CDCP, the Career College Development and Career programs have been really important, and we have our basic skills courses. So Nancy's going to show you some of the really exciting solutions to some of this bridging.
She's not done yet, so that, if she feels something, she can jump back in, because, we're all in this together. I need to kind of point out some of the things. It sounds like, those community college faculty, they just really, think that they're all there is, and they don't respect what we're doing. We totally understand the situation, and this is why. Because the CSUs and the UCs think that we are like the dirt of the earth. I mean, there's nobody here, right, from there? So we have to do the same thing that you're kind of feeling. It's like, please take our classes. We're doing a great job, even though my classes are better than their classes. But so we understand that. So I don't want you to feel depressed and like this is hopeless, because it's not. We really are. We understand the situation. We're just trying to change so that we can make it better for our students. And that's really what we need to do, is we need to focus on what's best for our students and forget about those other things. The students. Focus on the students, okay? So what I'm going to talk about are some solutions to the problem. And one of the reasons, I should tell you that, first off, I'm a computer nerd. I teach computer networking. That's why I got to come. She's teaching microbiology. I'm teaching computer networking. So I kind of look at it from a different point of view, and I look at the CTE because I think if you're an English major or a math major or a computer networking major, you're all in there in a vocational realm because you have to get a job someday, right? So I'm kind of looking at it from a different point of view. And some of you have, you're thinking about trying to get them through the 4-year schools and onto, this PhD program or something someday eventually. But I want to talk about some of the options that we have to be able to take a look at your CTE or your vocational areas and pull them through, and also incorporate those English skills or some of the other skills that they need to have. So I'm here because I'm the faculty coordinator for the statewide Career Pathways project, which deals with articulation. One of the things that we have found is that to make articulation and make students successful is that we need to work on awareness of what's out there and what's beyond them. And we also need to work on collaboration. A lot of our students cannot get the vision that I can go to college. My parents didn't go to college and they're surviving, and I'm surviving too. We need to instill in them the vision that there's more for them out there and they can do it. Just like, they just need to put their minds to it and they can get going on it. So we need to make sure that we let them know what's happening. And as an offshoot of our project, we've spent a great deal of time and money trying to develop different awareness campaigns. And so the whodouyowantobe.com, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. Oh, good. What I've been working on for 4 years isn't in vain, but it's really exciting. We're actually reaching down to the 8th grade level. We reach to the high schools. We even are reaching out to the parents and those of you that would be hitting the adult ed, and we're trying to encourage them into seeing what is out there and what's available. And it's really exciting because some people have come up to us and have said, I never even thought I could do that, or I thought I needed to have, an advanced degree. They're starting to get the picture, and it's because we're trying to work on that awareness. But I do want to go ahead and point you to that website, the whodouyowantobe.com. We have a variety of different things on there, and because I'm the CTE person, I have to be hands-on and practical here. So anyway, this is our website, and there are a lot of really great resources out there. So if you're not teaching, share it with the people that you work with that are teaching. But we have assessment skills, we have testimonials from different people who are working in the field and how important their education was, whether it was, we don't have, I think there's one person that talks about adult ed, but how important it is that, they have transitioned through the different segments into the community college. But it makes it so that they feel like they can do it. If this person can do it, so can I. And so it's really important. The assessment skills, we've gone through and tried to make it fun. There's a game in there that I don't know. How many of you guys play video games? I don't either. Oh, a couple of you, great. It's supposed to be a really great game. I can't get off of the first level. But it really is fun, but it goes through and it kind of educates them and says, oh, did you know that, you have to do this kind of thing. That's really exciting. Then farther down on the page, we have the different 15 career pathways that you have, and you can break off, and it tells you about what you can do in that field. Maybe, you like sports, but you're not an athlete. Well, maybe you could go into sports medicine, or maybe you could be a radio announcer for sports. There's all kinds of things to get them stimulated and thinking about what they can do instead of working, at McDonald's or something. It gives them another opportunity and forward thinking and vision of where they can go. So there's a lot on this website, and a lot of people like it. I think I'm really proud of this website too. So it's a lot of great stuff out there. It has job information, hourly wages, it has requirements. It's really a great website. So I wanted to point you to that. So there are different resources that are there. I also want to talk about articulation. How many of you know exactly what articulation is? Okay, great. Now if you're at a community college and you talked about articulation, guess what they would say articulation is? It's classes going to the CSU and the UC. It's really interesting, and you guys from Coastline don't even remember what I'm about to say. When I first started working on this project, I went to a curriculum committee and I talked about articulation. I was thinking high school, ROP, community college, and we had a certain person whose responsibility it was it's embarrassing to look at them. The responsibility it was to deal with articulation, and it was like they've never heard of high school ROP articulation before. And so most community colleges have a hard time with that. It's been, something that we're about, but they haven't been actively involved. It's only a small portion of it. So you're going to see more of it because we have a real emphasis on a project going out to try and educate all our faculty so we know what it's about. But just so that you know what's going on, there are actually 3 different types of articulation. And this is important for you to understand. The first is an advanced placement in a certificate. So we have all these great state-approved certificates, to get them from point A to point B. And what happens is they take a class, high school ROP or adult ed, because you guys teach many of the CTE classes that we teach also. So if you take one of those classes, you can, instead of retaking it at the community college class or community college, you can go through and actually get advanced placement and say, oh, you've already taken that, you're not getting credit for it, but you can go ahead and, bypass that on your way to your degree. A second one is that it satisfies the different prerequisites. Janet was right. Most programs did away with all of our prerequisites a long time ago because you had to do this study and all this other kind of thing, but they're starting to come back in. And another way of meeting articulation is that, oh, you took this class in an adult ed program, you know what, you don't have to take it here, we're going to waive that prerequisite for you. So that's the second way of articulation. But the most commonly used articulation, and the part that you probably are most interested in, is articulation via the credit by exam. Now, what that is designed to do is that if you have a course that is the same exact course as at the community college, and you have mutually worked together in a group with your community college faculty, and you've looked at your different outlines and you shared them, and you have determined that it's the same exact course, then your student, by means of being able to credit by exam, can earn transcripted credit at the community college. That makes so much sense. Why should they have to go through and take the same class again? And several of your programs are just as good, if not better, than what I'm doing. Of course, I think I do the best job, but you know, we all do that, right? But do you see what I'm saying is that, you know, we have to think of the student. So the way that this works with credit by exam, and the first articulation event I had, we had several adult eds from our local districts that were in there that came, and we were kind of stumbling over the idea, well, there's no, you know, you're not giving credit, you're doing the same thing, but you're not giving credit, how are we going to do that? But the basic idea of credit by exam is that someone has come in and met those skills, right? Anybody can go in and test out of a class. We all know that from going to college. So what's the difference, right? They've learned the skills from the adult ed, high school, or ROP. We need to be able to grant them credit. If a student came in off the street and wanted to get credit through credit by exam, what we would do is we would give them the final from our program, right? Well, if we are collaborating and we're working with all of our segments together and we're sharing what we're doing and we know what you're teaching in your class and what you're teaching in your class, and we're all teaching the same thing, we can jointly agree on whatever skills measurement it is, whether it's my final or whether it's the final that we've developed together, or heaven forbid that we would even do the industry certification exam as part of the skills attainment. What we need to do is we need to collaboratively agree on what we're going to use as our assessment tool, and that can be used to grant credit. The student would get credit by exam just as if they came in and took something else. So there is hope. Don't give up, okay? A couple of the things that you need to know, though, is that by law, the community college faculty is the one who would be determining the skills attainment or the method that you would grant the credit. Well, that only makes sense because it's going on our transcript and we have to do that. But remember the collaboration portion. If we're working together, there's that trust that's built there. And we can figure out that what you're teaching, again, is what I'm teaching, and that's okay. I'm not threatened by it, okay? So by working together, you can mutually agree on it, and it's not going to be an ego thing. If you develop those relationships with the other segments, it's going to be a smooth transition. We're here for the students. We're not here to protect our own little domains. We're here for the students. Keep remembering that. There is another area that you need to consider, is that some colleges do charge a student fee. Now, the student fee for credit by exam and articulated classes, when it's a K through 12, or if they're under 18 at an ROP, those are generally waived. Not all the time, but they're generally waived. But that's a discussion that you'll have to have with your local community college to say, hey, we have this agreement, or we have this memo of understanding that, our class is the same as yours. So can we waive that fee for us? And it's a college by college decision. So they could waive it if you had that agreement. So that might be a stumbling point. Let me talk a little bit about articulation agreements because that's what my project's about. An articulation agreement takes a look at the different course outlines that you have. And remember, our course outlines are all approved by the state, right? We've all sent them in, and you know, every faculty member within your program is supposed to be teaching to that same course outline, right? I know how it goes. I'm a teacher, remember? Anyway, what you get to do is you come together and you share those course outlines, and you can look to see where they are the same. Now, we thought, you know what? There's a lot of people that have the same classes throughout the state, and it makes it really hard for them to kind of compare apples to oranges and put together one document that says part of this program and part of that program. So what we've done is we've developed something that are called templates. And this is the Statewide Career Pathways project website, and it's really handy for you, and I'll show you why in just a second. But we have the articulation templates. It's that middle bottom column, it's the green one. And what that does is if you wanted to see what is generally accepted by the community college faculty, the high school faculty, and the ROP faculty for what a class should be, that's where you go and look for it. We get together, people from the faculty from the different segments, we get together on a nice weekend, the Academic Senate pays for, you know, a nice hotel and food, and we bring all of our outlines together and we say, oh, okay, let's pick one class. In my case, we did the CIS 100 class, which is this is a computer, this is a monitor. You know the class I'm talking about? So we all brought our outlines, and you know what? We were all teaching the same thing. In fact, we were using the same book and the same test bank. Funny thing, right? So anyway, so we went through and we developed a template of the ideal class that had the major components from all of our different courses that we were teaching, and we put that up as the starting point. That's what an articulation template is. Then on a local basis, when you have an articulation event, what happens is that you take the articulation template out, everybody brings their outlines and say, oh yes, this is exactly what we're doing. Let's just attach our outlines, let's sign it, and we agree that it's the same class, and then you can send it up and we'll put it up on the website. What's handy for you here is that as you're trying to work on aligning your classes with the community college, and the community college is working on aligning their classes with what you're doing, do you see it has to go both ways? It's really handy to see what everybody else is doing. So Statewide Career Pathways, over here, the agreement section over here on the right on the bottom, you have I think we're up to about 800 different agreements in different areas in those 15 different career areas in the state. But you can actually see the template and you can see the outlines from all those other colleges. So it's right at your fingertips, and you can see what's out there and what's being expected statewide for a CIS 100 class, or a CNA nursing class, or an animation class, or whatever it is. That's why this is really handy for you to be able to see what the curriculum actually is out there. So that's my project that's out there. But, oh, and this is pulling up the articulation agreements. If you go in, you can see the template or agreement. This emergency medical responder, you'd click on that for Antelope Valley Union High School District. You'd pull it up and you'd be able to see that. So I want to encourage you to go out and take a look at those, because it really gives you an idea of the types of things that faculty from all the segments, high school, ROP, community college, we have had some adult ed people work on some of these different areas too, but they've come together, we've shared, and we have put together the templates to be used for these agreements. So I want to encourage you to take a look on that. It's really valuable.
Nancy.
Uh-huh.
I think that one of the other great benefits of this Statewide Career Pathway website is that 40% of our students go to multiple colleges. They don't just go to one. And so if you have an agreement in Antelope Valley and it looks fine, and a student from if you have an adult ed program up there that's up there, and it looks like everything that I do down in LA or someone does in San Francisco, then it's just an agreement. Oh, this looks the same, and we make an agreement from what we see online, and it doesn't have to go through all those other steps. So it's a very efficient way.
We call that transportability.
Yes.
And it is so true. And we're I have to be honest, we still are trying to get some buy-in from the EGO people, the other community college faculty. Some people accept it, but some are saying, oh, that's not at my school. They're real black and white on things. But the idea is that they can see exactly what was articulated, and if their course is exactly the same, then the idea they should accept it. Credit by exam. It's a real easy way to be able to justify that. So I just want to encourage you to take a look. So I love the project. I think it's great. Let's talk about some other resources, because that was kind of a model of things to do. Oh, one other thing I forgot to show you. We have a counseling kit. I don't know if you guys have seen these. A lot of people in the state have had them. Oh, I like this table. Where are you guys from? Good. All right. All right. I'm glad to see that. Okay. Okay, this is a counseling kit, and what we've done for the 15 career pathways is that we've gone through and we have what needs to be taken at the high schools or community colleges, and then as students are going through, we give them a blank form so that they can actually do their plan. Because yes, we'd love them all to go see a counselor, but it doesn't always happen. So if we have faculty members that are helping them to plan out what they need to do, then they're going to be successful and they're going to get through the project. All of these materials, you can either buy the $20 kit, which is really wonderful and it's a great buy, we don't make any money on it, or you can get all of the material duplicatable off of the statewide career pathways project. So go and take a look at it. But you might not be CTE, maybe you're ESL, or maybe you're one of the academic areas. You can do the same thing. Help these students. They need to have someone come alongside them and kind of hold their hand. I did when I went to college, and I bet you guys did too. So that's the counselor kit, but take a look at it, adapt these for your use, make it work for your students. Okay, some other things. Janet had mentioned about every district, every college being different. There are 110 community college, and most of us act totally independent of one another. I'm in a district with 3 colleges. What we do at Coastline isn't what Orange Coast does or isn't what Golden West does. We are totally independent, which is great for us, but bad for you. So I want to encourage you not to give up, okay? So here's some things that you need to do. You need to be looking for people who are writing grants and people that have money to be able to help with this transition. Every grant that is written out there has in there a partnership. We're supposed to be partnering with you. We're supposed to be partnering with the high schools. We need to partner with each other. They need you as much as you need them. So look for where the money is on your local community college, okay? The CTE deans. The CTE deans have a lot of Perkins money, and Perkins funds require partnerships. That means you guys, that means us working together. Check out whoever the CTE dean is. So call the community college, the number that's written in the telephone directory. They'll never know. The receptionist will, call them and say, oh, I need to know the name of the CTE dean, and it might be a CTE dean for a specific area, but ask them, and they'll transfer you and give you information. Don't be afraid to ask. The dean will never know. They have a receptionist and they have a secretary before you could talk to them. So ask. You'll get a name. You'll get a contact and a telephone number to be able to get with them. But they need to be able to work on these partnerships. And they're usually our tech prep coordinators. Now, in our district, it's a little weird. We have one at the district, but at most colleges, they have a tech prep coordinator at each of the colleges, and their job is articulation with high school ROP and you guys. So get to know those people. And again, call that receptionist if you don't know, and you can find out who they are, okay? Great contact person. Okay, basic skills coordinator. Because of the funds that are coming from the state with the Basic Skills Initiative, there are coordinators at your college. Did you guys know we had a basic skills coordinator person? Oh, you do, okay. Some of the community college people don't even know it, but the receptionist does, okay? She's got a list with all these titles on it. So call. Basic skills coordinators would be a key person for you to be able to get faculty together and working together on. STEM coordinators, same thing. If you're working in those areas and you need to do it, there's a STEM coordinator on each campus because there's funds coming into the campus to be able to help promote those. Talk to those people and get to know them and help work on your projects together. Science,
technology, engineering, and math. And we just, whereas our basic skills funding was cut back this year a little bit, the STEM funding has been increased on most of our campuses that are connected to it. So if you have any fields that look like science, technology, engineering, and math, there is a STEM coordinator on the campus that you can speak with.
And you guys are creative. You can figure out that there is a connection to STEM in whatever you're teaching, right? Okay, follow the money, okay? I also want to talk a little bit about collaborations because that is the key to success in everything. Once we find out this name and we find out the extension and telephone number, we need to talk to them. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have relationships with these people so that they start thinking about you, and when money comes or opportunities, they will think about who you are. So try and get that relationship going, not only with the deans. Remember, we're academic centered, okay? We think of the collaboration of faculty. And if you are going to have anything happen curriculum-wise in the state, in community colleges, you have to be dealing with faculty. So that's why she said to talk to the Academic Senate President. So, you know, the Academic Senate President is a really good person because they can tell you, oh, this is the department chair for your area, or this is a coordinator that would work in that area. So talk to the faculty too. Don't just think you have to talk to a dean. And I know you guys, a lot of you guys out here are administrators, but it's different at the community college. The faculty are the ones that have purview. We're the ones that do all the writing, everything dealing with curriculum. By law, the administrators can't, okay? So you're going to hear about a bridging program later on this afternoon. You need to work with the community college faculty to get that going, to understand, let them know what you're doing, and you need to find out what they're doing in their programs, okay? And you can get those memos of understanding that will set in place, just like an articulation agreement, what will happen when they complete the different courses. Here's where the templates and articulation agreements are. You can get those going, and remember, it's credit by exam. It doesn't matter that you are not assigning credit. It's a skills-based. If you can go through and have your students pass the final exam or whatever you mutually agree on, they can earn community college credit, okay? It's just like someone coming in off the street, they can do that. Faculty and discipline work groups and dialogue, that is the key. If you know what they're doing and they know what you're doing, and you guys can work together to make it a smooth transition for those students instead of being two isolated hubs, it's going to be good for the students. It's going to be a nice transition for the two. Think about that dialogue. Think about that communication. That's what the keys are. Okay, and we need to have the discussions with non-credit faculty and the administrators on your side with the faculty at the community college. We have credit, we have non-credit. You guys know all about that, probably more than I do. So just communicate. Think who your contacts could be. Just, you know, do that brainstorming and think, oh, I need to find this person that does such and such. And then what are you going to do? Call the community college receptionist and find out who's in charge of that, right? Good. Okay. And I should tell you that we kind of give the same thing to the community college, that you need to be talking to your high school's ROPs and adult ed. So we tell them to call your receptionist too. So just so you're aware of that, it's not just one side. So, you know, we have to encourage everybody to do this communication. You might want to think about a central website for posting the information within your district, or we work sometimes in regions to be able to get this collaboration going. In Orange County, we have 10 community colleges in just our county. You know, I know LA, those of you from LA are huge and you have a lot more than we do, but that's a lot of students. And we have all these different high school districts and ROP districts and the adult ed districts that are dealing either with high school or community college. So there's a lot of people out there. Get that dialogue going. Think about a website maybe to post information on, okay? Make sure, clear expectations. This is the scientist that put this in about the clear expectations. You need to know what you're trying to accomplish. Don't just assume that the other institution knows what you're talking about. When we first started this project, the hardest thing that we had at that first meeting was I would talk about one thing and they would be talking about something else, but it turned out to be the same thing. We just were calling everything different. So we need to make sure that what you're trying to accomplish is outlined and the jargon that we're using is defined so you know what you're talking about. Communication. And you need to develop different contacts, get to know those different people. You don't have to take them to lunch or all that kind of stuff, but just to get a relationship going with these different people. And once you do that, you can figure out ways that the students can go through the programs. We actually had set up articulation agreements. I don't know if you guys realize that, but we have articulation agreements with our districts around us. But we had a problem because the students didn't know how to get through. And when they started directing them to our admissions and records office, our admissions and records office people didn't know what to do with it. So we had created a great way to get the students through the system, but nobody knew about it. So help to try and make it easy for the students so that they have a clear cut way of getting tied in through your program, through their, the different courses that they're going to take, tie into the community college so that they can get that credit, okay? Make it easy for them. Here's some opportunities, okay? The BSI, that's the Basic Skills Initiative, there's money there. CTE, there's money there. The ERA funds, well, there's some money. There's not tons, but there is some money that's coming. The Hewlett Foundation has a great grants. We have won, how many millions of dollars? We have like several $1 million Hewlett-Packard grant. And there are all kinds of foundations out there that have money, and guess what? They want to give it to us. We need to have a partnership, but they want to give it to us. So think about grants. Achieving the dream, money there, okay? You can go in and there's all kinds of different ways that you can do it. Do you want to finish this last part up?
Okay. So thank you for your time with us. We just want to leave you with who creates the bridges. The Academic Senate of California Community Colleges is dedicated to creating bridges. We want to be student-centered, and we know all of these figures. We've got to get more people that are job-ready, academic-ready. So who creates the bridges? In some cases, it's us. In some cases, it's the student. In some cases, it's you. In some cases, it's the government. We know that the Bay Bridge just had a little minor problem. We want to create bridges that don't do that. But bridges are possible. And I think what we want you to hear today, and we want you to say it when you talk to your local community colleges, the statewide Academic Senate is promoting this. They want these bridges to happen. How can we make it? How can we build these? How can we increase student transitions? Thank you.